Gio, hey bro, how much B1 did you take? I was taking 200 milligrams daily. And you're talking about probably benfotiamine. That's the form I was consuming. Suraj, hello sir. How to decrease high cholesterol level? Depends what cholesterol level you're trying to decrease. Is it LDL, triglycerides? Because cholesterol as whole is pretty much irrelevant. And cholesterol in general is irrelevant. It's just whether it's being oxidized or not. And it depends on the numbers, whether they're above certain amounts, like if we're talking LDL over 300, for example. But you have to be a little bit more specific. Geo, that's the one. Yeah, perfect. Benfotiamine, then definitely 200 milligrams would be max. Try not to exceed that. Bren, hello. Suraj, LDL. If you want to lower LDL, take niacin, nicotinic acid. Start with about 100 milligrams and work your way up, because you have to actually use it as a therapeutic level. If you want to learn how to use it as a therapeutic level, I do have a PDF ebook that I created on how to actually utilize niacin as nicotinic acid as a therapeutic level without actually overdosing or over consuming. Check it out. I have the link within my bio as well too, Suraj. Works really good. It will actually balance your total cholesterol levels. LDL, HDL will increase, triglycerides will drop, LDL will drop, and as well it prevents oxidation. And it varies per person. You could actually be consuming anywhere from 100 to 3,000 milligrams daily, just based on the goals that you're trying to achieve. I did a recent video today about berberine. I'm glad that a lot of people like the video, and I got a lot of the comments. Thanks so much, guys, as well for the likes. But definitely, it's becoming one of my favorite supplement to take, along with magnesium and taurine for overall heart health or type 2 diabetes. It's an excellent product. What time to take NAC? What are you using NAC for? Are you using NAC for lungs? As NAC being an amino acid, you can take it in an empty stomach, or you can take it with food. It depends which version you're taking. If you're taking just powder or capsule, are you taking liposomal? I just need a little bit more information. But as well, if nitrate, let's see, nitrate supplement, drop the link, please. How can I drop the link in here? I don't know how. Here, let me try. I haven't really played with this, but maybe I can put it in a comment. Oh, yeah, I just don't know how to copy and paste, but I have the link within my bio profile. If you click on my picture, there's a link. Once you click on that link, it has a list of my top 3 supplements that I like, and nitrate is one of them. Most likely is going to be the first one there. So definitely check it out. It is used only for practitioners, but you can definitely order it just because I have the link as a practitioner listed. And I tend to take 2 capsules in the morning and 2 capsules in the evening. This is what the nitrate supplement look like, because I do actually take mine at night as well. So this is it. I actually break the capsule. I don't swallow the capsule itself. I break the capsule, put it on my tongue, and I just drink half a cup of water. And once you take it, you can actually do the strips. You can test to see how much, whether it's been activated or not. And going back to the NAC from one of the other users that just asked me that question, you just asked me that time, but I'd like to know what you're thinking of using it for. If you're thinking of using it for liver detoxification, best to take it in the morning. If you're using it for lungs, pretty much you can take it any time, and make sure you're taking it with vitamin A. Which magnesium brand is good? Najla. I take the one by Trace Minerals, and it is liquid magnesium chloride. I also have the link within my profile picture under my favorite supplement, so you can click on it. I do order mine from iHerb. I'm not affiliated with them. I do order it from iHerb just because it is cheaper than me buying it locally. And I use about 10 to 20 drops. 20 drops will give you, I believe, I gotta look at the formula, I think you get about 280 milligrams of magnesium chloride per 20 or 40 drops. I just can't remember. Usually I fill up like a quarter of a teaspoon and I put it in 1 cup of water. And that's what I actually have with me right now here. So I do have the magnesium chloride in here. So every time I'm drinking water, I actually add magnesium chloride and taurine. Menopausal woman just started HRT. Can I take berberine? Yeah, you can take berberine. Just make sure it's at least 2 hours apart, but it should not conflict. Okay, let me just go through the questions here. What do you recommend for premenopausal? Be a little bit more specific. What are you looking for? What are you trying to kind of accomplish? You don't want to, is it a specific supplement you're looking for or anything specific? Usually vitamin D would be your most natural supplement for anything to do with premenopausal, but definitely vitamin D has to be consumed at a higher level, but you have to be careful because you gotta try to get the natural form of vitamin D, because if it's not the natural form, there's potentially can cause some calcification as well too. Advice for BPH. I've been doing pumpkin seeds. BPH. What do you mean by BPH? There's so many different meanings for it. BPH. Are you talking about prostatic hyperplasia? If that's what it is, have you tested saw palmetto, selenium? Iodine is good. Magnesium chloride is good. Tony Vicious, I take niacin with the flush, but some nights I don't get the flush. Should I take two? No. Some days you're gonna feel the flush, some days you don't. It's not a big deal. You know, that means your body's starting to get saturated. So once you go on, let's say, about a week or 2 weeks with steady, with no flush at all, I don't know if you're taking it with food or an empty stomach, then you stop for about 7 days, then you restart taking the dose again on an empty stomach with 1 cup of warm water, and monitor that. If the flush still not felt, you can actually increase the dose, but it's all based on your goals. If you did meet your goal already at 500 milligrams, let's just say as an example, then there's no need to increase. If you did not meet your goal, then you can definitely increase the milligrams. About NMN molecule, day saver. So you're looking about nicotinamide monocleotide. What would you like to know? This is the activator or the conversion to NAD+. I like it, but I like NR better. I like nicotinamide riboside. It's more bioavailable and actually reaches your can activate your NAD almost probably about 30-40% faster than NMN itself. They're both good. NMN only requires one enzymatic function to be converted. NR requires 2 enzymatic functions, but the bioavailability on it is much higher. And the only reason I like nicotinamide riboside because of the ribose itself. Ribose is like the powerhouse to turn on your mitochondria for your heart health, which is excellent. Thank you very much, Mauricio. I watch your videos. They are very beneficial. Thanks so much. Really appreciate the comment, guys. How to know good quality berberine? What? Okay, the one I take, I buy it locally. It goes by the name of Natural Factors. iHerb sells it. You can buy it from them if you want. The only reason I like that one, so this is how you can tell whether you're getting good quality or not, is you request a certificate of analysis from the company. And once you get the certificate of analysis, you can actually get from multiple companies and you can compare. So the certificate of analysis will tell you where the product originated from and if it does have or contains any heavy metals or not. So this is very, very important. So you know exactly what you are getting for the money you're spending. Hello from Sydney. Tommy, homocysteine, a good heart test, and what is a normal? Should be between 7 and 8. Anytime you exceed over 9 for homocysteine, that means you could be deficient in vitamin B12, methylfolate. These would be your first initial 2. Then if you still are deficient, then you add B6 and magnesium chloride to balance it. Homocysteine plays a huge role in oxidization and in arterial stiffness. So it's good that you actually have it lowered properly between 7 and 8. Try not to exceed 9. Tony, I take on empty stomach with warm water, 500 milligrams. Yes, 100%. If you're already doing that and the flush is completely gone for at least 2 weeks steady, then definitely stop and recycle in about 10 days. Is it a form of B3? Yes, it is so niacin goes in 2 different ways. Some companies will call it vitamin B3. Some companies will say nicotinic acid. Can I take NAC and NR? Yeah, you can take them both. It shouldn't conflict. NAC is more of a liver detoxification or a kidney detoxification, or could be used for lungs. NR is more of the for longevity, so it's not going to conflict. Now, some will say, anything that will detoxify your liver, anything you take such as drugs or supplement, if it has to go through the liver to be processed, it could get detoxified. It's a yes and a no. I've played with both roles and didn't really notice much of a loss. So to be on a safe side, because nicotinamide riboside is a very expensive product, maybe have like a 30-minute or an hour gap in between. What about HSCRP for heart? Yes, should be below 1. So 0.9 or under. If it is higher, that means there is inflammation in the arteries or there is inflammation in the system that is causing some type of inflammation. So how can you reduce that? If your diet is perfect, so there's no, let's say, tissue damage, there's no bruising or nothing in the body going on, then, and if it's still higher than 1, then I would introduce vitamin E tocotrienols up to 400 IUs a day, and that will actually lower and stable your HSCRP, because vitamin E is like a powerhouse as an antioxidant for arterial flexibility. If a lot of users aren't able to afford or find good quality of vitamin E, because a lot of vitamin E is out there, they gotta be careful. They're actually derived from soy, and they should be coming from either palm or they should be coming from Eneto. If they're not, I have a link for one of them. If they're not, then it's better to take the R form of alpha lipoic acid, because alpha lipoic acid is one of the mother of antioxidant for both vitamin C and vitamin E. It will actually recycle them. John, is a good resting heart rate mean good blood pressure? No, they're two different things. Resting heart rate and high blood pressure, they're two different things. You know, your resting heart rate could be in the low 60s or the low 50s, but yet your systolic and diastolic could be, you know, back and forth spiking. So no, they're not equivalent at all. You could be in the low 50s, but there could be blockage that is causing increase in systolic and diastolic. Now, your systolic and diastolic does increase when you train and you do other heavily activity, but even when you're resting, it should always kind of go back to normal, which is 120/80. But the systolic and diastolic numbers, or technically high blood pressure, is almost irrelevant because every person is different. So definitely, you can't really say, hey, if my resting heart rate has always been in a low 45, just because I train hard and stuff. But it doesn't mean that my blood pressure was up in 130/90 most of the time. So, and usually blood pressure it's an issue with your kidneys or an issue with the blood vessels. Any take on maca root? You know, I tried maca root, didn't really feel a whole lot of difference. Even thought, you know, they claim it is good for men to take for testosterone. It does help increase energy and manage stress and depression, all that crap. I think sometimes, you know, there's a lot of herbs overlooked and overanalyzed, and they say so much about them, but yet they don't actually do anything. And so far, when I tried it for almost about 6 months straight, got a really good product, was powder. I used to mix it and take it, but didn't really feel much from it. Day Saver, dropped my A1C from 14.9 in 4 months using berberine 1000 milligrams per day. March 3rd, my A1C now is 5.9. That's pretty amazing. That's incredible. Keep at it, Day Saver. I don't know the full name. That's awesome. Yeah, keep at it. And I don't know if you're taking 500 milligrams per meal or 1000 milligrams just all at once, but definitely it does help. It does benefit. I've been testing it right now for a year, and the benefits I've seen compared to other vitamins and stuff, by far berberine outbeat most of them. It's an amazing product. I don't think I'll ever stop using it. And now I've been using it as a combination with magnesium and taurine, and it's pretty incredible. And I've been putting a lot of my new patients that actually currently have a stent on it and replacing Brilinta, replacing aspirin, just because of the platelet aggregation and platelet activation as well too. It works amazing for anti-clotting and all that stuff. Pretty good product and pretty promising, very promising product. Wildlife, did you say dandelion, hibiscus, and milk thistle is good for the liver? Yes, and I did a liver ebook PDF, I think probably about a few weeks ago, and I was selling it I think for $1, so you can definitely download it. But it has a list of some herbs and vitamins for liver detoxification. Now, one of my favorite liver detoxification is taurine as well. So with dandelion hibiscus and milk thistle, you know, you can add taurine about 3,000 milligrams. It's pretty amazing, works really good. And this product, taurine, is being overused in our body, especially in the environment we live in. We need high taurine amounts daily. What are your thoughts on the Unicity Feel Great system? It's a freaking bullshit. It's a ripoff. It's a scam for people, because I don't know how much they're charging. I think one of my audience said they're charging like $150, and all there is just fiber. Yeah, you can take fiber before a meal, so it kind of prevents like insulin from spiking, and that's all it is. And they turn around and sell it for about $150. I think there's some kind of bullshit, a lot of marketing behind it. And trust me, you can buy the fiber intake for a few dollars. To give you an example, you can add like chicory powder, you can add acacia powder, you can add, I have like a list of different powders that you can actually add for lowering cholesterol, lowering type 2 diabetes, and, you know, having a proper bowel movement. You know, what they're selling is just a ripoff, and they say it's a complex of fiber. It's just the way they market things. I think it's just bullshit. And there's so many users right now across the board that they're actually talking so highly about their type 2 diabetes, how they cured it and everything, and yet you can buy that stuff for pennies, but they're all after their freaking commission pockets. What's good for skin burning? Skin burning. Do you have like an allergy reaction? Or is it like in a specific spot on your body that the skin is burning? Usually, whenever there's a skin burn or feeling of a sensation burning, and keep in mind, skin is the biggest organ, so something you're eating that is actually causing that. And 99% of the time, it could be coming from either dairy or eggs. So I don't know what your diet is like before I can recommend anything to actually put on your skin. It's gonna be end up putting something topical. Is breathing involuntary or voluntary? How much do we do the breathing? Do we control? Is breathing involuntary? And how much? You know, I think this is a little bit complicated because how can I answer that? Because you know, involuntary, pretty much technically, you don't have to actually force yourself to breathe. In the environment we live in the city, yes, you do have to go to like a calmer place, cleaner air, and actually breathe in some proper oxygen, doing that at least 3 times a day. That's what I try to do, to get some proper oxygen into your system, a proper blood flow, and detoxify at the same time. But when you are out, like say when I go off grid in the mountains and all that, you'll barely notice yourself that you're breathing because you get so much oxygen flow that is flowing through your body, through your skin, and nothing is interrupting it. It is a little bit more complicated, but definitely if you want to learn a little bit more about it and the breathing technique that I do and one of the equipment that I use, I'll send you the names. I just don't have it here with me. I left it off a grid in my little tiny house that I'm building, but send me a direct message. I'll get you some information on it. Karen G, hello everyone. Wow, I'm already running behind 45 messages. Wow, that's the thing. I kind of like to take my time and answer every question. I know sometimes I do run behind. I do apologize, guys, but definitely if I do miss any questions, let me know or maybe send me a direct message. Thank you so much. This is from Damon. So many people are pushing this feel great system, treating it like it's the best product. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's just marketing, and they're just trying to make a quick dollar off everyone. As soon as you see these guys, talking about it, they're clueless. They're just a regular person or whoever they are. They're just, their marketing system is pretty amazing just because they're paying such a high commission, because the product costs pennies and yet they're selling it for over $100 and some. So instead of actually, helping people to feel healthy, it's like they're robbing people. Seriously, they're freaking robbing people. And yet, all the answers are there. They're just robbing people from it. What happened to being honest and sharing and actually making sure everyone is thriving? I need some supplements for focus and comprehension. Take L-theanine, L-tyrosine, magnesium L-threonate. Michael, what's the best supplement for someone with iron deficiency? Eat steaks. Don't ever supplement iron. You don't need to supplement iron. If you supplement iron, because it varies per person, unless you're freaking fatigued all the time. But never supplement iron, because iron does actually ages your cells much faster. So I think, like cooking a steak and a skillet will add iron to it, all that stuff. Eating, good meat. Red meat is plenty of iron in it. You don't need, especially when you get the dark red coloration, you'll get sufficient enough of iron. And never really take any iron shots or anything like that. Keep in mind that stuff can sit in your body for up to 15 years if you overdo it. How to support body against recurrent UTI from intercourse. My only trigger is probiotics. So I'm just gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up my notes as well, because I do have a lot of information that I've written. But in regards to UTI, like other than probiotics, it's pretty tough, because it depends on the probiotics you're taking, because they have to be hitting a specific level. Like we're talking about 100 billion plus, and the probiotics cannot be consumed with food. They actually have to be an empty stomach, either an hour. It's either it's about an hour before food or 2 hours after you eat. And another option, sometimes they have like a mix of herbal, where you have other things added to it, specifically vitamin C, just to kind of prevent any bacterial issues. But definitely, if you want a little bit more information on that, definitely send me a direct message. I'll send you the list of combination that I put together for 2 of my customers before. So I'm just trying to see if I have the list here with me, and I would tell you what they are. No, I don't see it here. Yeah, definitely send me a message if you could, and I'll send you that information, no problem. Wildlife, doing cardio and watching TV. Cardio is okay, as long as you're doing some HIIT, would be great. What helps with, let's see here. Give me some examples. Like when you say nausea, like is it issue that is happening all the time, or just kind of back and forth, or it just happens specific time throughout the day? Because everything kind of varies. Nausea is usually a deficiency in mineral, mostly magnesium and calcium. The ratio sometimes goes off balance, and you end up feeling it. So I need a little bit more information on that, just so I can help you better. I need some supplements for focus. We talked about that. Yerba mate, tea, black seed oil, berberine, phytosterol, and resveratrol for type 2. Nice combination. Except, I've tried all of them, and they do actually work really good for resveratrol. It's just the only ones I have not, or I've been struggling to get a good product, is the black seed oil. But that's a nice combination, and I love yerba tea. It actually tastes really nice. Does magnesium glycinate help with sleep? Yeah, take about one of the best form to take would be magnesium glycinate of 200 milligrams, L-theanine 200 milligrams, and GABA 50 milligrams. That's what I take daily, about 30 minutes before you sleep. And these 3 combination, this is for John, these 3 combination will actually increase your deep sleep by about 2 to about 3 hours. REM sleep, I can only increase it up to roughly an hour and 15 minutes. Now, if you want higher REM sleep, then you want to add melatonin. The problem is I don't do well on melatonin, but you can definitely add it. But try magnesium glycinate by itself and kind of go from there. Some individuals say take, instead of having magnesium glycinate, they actually take the glycinate, which is glycine, about 5 grams, and they actually dilute it in a little bit of warm water, and you drink about 30 minutes. It converts to GABA as well too, so that's another option you can do. What about Sandra? What about hemochromatosis? Need a little bit more information when you see hemochromatosis. What's going on, just so I can get an idea. I know there's a specific protocol you have to follow to ignore certain supplements or certain foods, but can you give me a little bit more information what you're looking for in regards to hemochromatosis? Kidney health, GFR to 50. GFR down to 50, so you're at stage 3, I think, because I think 90 or higher should be good. Kidney is very complicated, very freaking complicated, and I hate that subject because it's the only organ that we can almost struggle with. And so far, I've only had one user who kind of fixed it up, got it from 50 to 72, and he took a supplement. I'm gonna get you the name for it. And I cannot get the supplement here. It's originated in Japan, and they sell it directly from Japan. But he did a prolonged fasting of 5 to 6 days, 3 times a year. I'm gonna get you the name of that product that he was taking. I hope I do find it here with me. Let me see. I know I should have saved the link because I get a lot of customers, they ask me about it, and it is coming from, it's a Japanese herb. Let's see if I can find it for you. Kidney stage 3. Because I know other than citrus and stuff like that, they do help, but it's funny when you want to find something, you can't find it. This is for Red Dog. Hey, send me a direct message and I'll search it up again. For some reason, I'm not able to pull it out on my end. Because I emailed these guys to see if I can actually import their product to USA or Canada, and they said no. They want to sell directly to the consumer, but it's coming directly from Japan. I just can't remember the exact name. But definitely, Red Dog, just send me a message. I'll give you the name of it and maybe contact them, see if you can definitely try it. Sandra, too much iron in the blood. Go donate some blood. That's the only way you can get rid of iron. Donate blood once every 3 months. You'll actually lower your iron levels probably by the 2nd or 3rd time you're doing it. Oh, Voval, I love your content. Keep it up. Hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate the comments, and thanks so much, you guys, for the support and all the likes. Please repeat. Okay, I missed a couple of questions. I'm going back up. This is Body, Mind, Sound, and Soul. For magnesium chloride taken every 3 hours, does it apply during sleeping hours? No. Well, not really. You're not gonna force yourself to wake up in the middle of the night to take. But if you do wake up in the middle of the night, so this is what I do. So I take roughly about 3 or 4 doses throughout the day. That's 200 milligrams each. So that's 200, 400, 600. I take about 800 milligrams. And before I sleep, I have 1 cup of water with 200 milligrams chloride in it. If I end up waking up in the middle of the night, which is I do for some reason around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, because Duke wakes me up, but I can sometimes go back to sleep for an hour, I actually go ahead and drink that 1 cup of water. So I take like almost a 5th dose, but that's almost the next day. But that's my 5 doses a day. So you can definitely do that. And that's how I was able to saturate my body fast within about 6 months. Mozart is the guy. Please repeat it. I need some supplements for focus and comprehension. So I said L-theanine, 200 milligrams, L-tyrosine, 500 milligrams, up to 3,000 milligrams. They're both on empty stomach, so they have to be consumed at the same time. And magnesium L-threonate. I take magnesium L-threonate as liposomal. Now, it is a little bit expensive, but the company was actually giving it out for that. When I'm done with magnesium L-threonate, what I used to do before, take 1 teaspoon of caprylic acid 8 and 1 teaspoon of omega-3 DHA only, not DHA and APA. DHA only is actually good for the brain, and the MCT caprylic acid works like a driver, so it drives it to the brain and enhances the focus and stuff. So I take it early morning with my coffee, and you're actually focused on your work, on your job for at least a good 4 hours before it wears out. At the 4 hour period, you can almost take another coffee shot, espresso if you want, with the MCT and DHA again. Or you can just take L-theanine. Sorry, I'm just writing some of the stuff down while you guys are asking, because you guys are giving me some ideas so I can make some good videos on. Okay, next one here, supplements for ADHD. The most important one would be omega-3, but the only omega-3 you gotta take for that would be coming from cod liver oil, because you have your EPA, you have your DHA. It's loaded with vitamin A as a fat soluble, and it's loaded with vitamin D, because they're all combination are all required, and of course magnesium chloride to be saturated. What are good doses of iron and zinc per day? You never want to take iron at all. You don't want to take iron at all. You should get plenty of it from eating meat or foods. Zinc, you can go anywhere between 10 to 20 milligrams. Just make sure if you're going to go over that, you do have to add copper, especially if you don't eat organs, because you get, it has to be copper to zinc. I did a video on this. I think was supposed to be 2.5 ratio. So let's say, for example, every 2.5 milligrams of zinc is supposed to be kind of taken, like say 1 milligram of like copper, something like that, or microgram of copper, I believe it was. Arif, nice to meet you. Good to meet you as well. No iron, not good. Storing iron in my blood. So Sandra, are you currently taking anything for the to get rid of the iron? Like, are you doing any iron chelations? Are you attempting to do not the fasting, the donating of the blood? Because there is certain things you can do. I just need to know if you're doing anything, or have you attempted anything yet. Sometimes you can take zeolite as well too. It does help. But I need to know, so if iron is stored in your blood, like, how's your lifestyle like? What does it consist of? Any tips on how to sleep at night with people that struggle with insomnia? You can take magnesium glycinate or magnesium chloride with GABA, melatonin, and you can take L-theanine as well too. Is turmeric bad for kidneys long term? It's a hit and miss. I hate turmeric. It doesn't work for everyone. It depends what you're using it for. If you're using it for like coagulant or even anti-inflammatory, look for nano turmeric, not just turmeric by itself, or look for liposomal turmeric, because turmeric by itself, by the time it goes through your system and it gets converted properly, almost you lose about a good 30-40% of it. A lot of the stuff is, I hate generalizing, because I have not seen much good feedback from it, and some of it depends where it's actually originated from. You gotta be careful. There actually are heavy with heavy metals in them. So sometimes you'll be taking and saying, hey, I'm taking turmeric for anti-inflammation, but now you're causing more heavy metal storage in your system. I'm going back up. Oops. Sorry. Okay, I'm going back up, guys. Sorry, I just missed a lot of questions. Dihydroberberine versus berberine dosage. Dihydro, I have not heard of that one. I don't have it here locally. Let me look it up. I'm just gonna write it down. Dihydroberberine. Dihydroberberine. Is it a higher? Because I've already been testing berberine, and berberine on its own works amazing. Now dihydro it's a higher bioavailability. So almost you're gonna start to come across like everything, with a different name. Like for example, there's turmeric. Well, there's nanoturmeric, better absorption. There's vitamin C, ascorbic acid, or you can take liposomal, better absorption. So every herb, you're always going to find another alternative that is going to be more bioavailable. Sometimes, is it worth it? Maybe, because a lot of this stuff, they do cost quite a bit of money. And if it's only like maybe a few dollars apart, it's fine. But the moment you start to pay tens and $20 per bottle more, it's not worth it at the end. How of a difference in bioavailability is it anyway? Like, is it, that 5%, 10%? Like, for example, when they say, you take vitamin C, your body can only absorb up to 10%. Well, if you take liposomal, your body can absorb up to 80%. So if it is like an 80 or a 90%, then it could be worth it. But if it's not, then I don't know if it's worth spending the money on it. Where are you located? Do you see patients? I do see patients mostly online. I am in Canada actually, but everything I do is remotely, or I tend to do like a lot of Zoom calls and a lot of calls over the phone as well too. But anything I can help you with, by all means, you can definitely book a time and we can discuss in details. Do you know any registered clinical nutritionist you recommend? I might. Where are you located, or where are you trying to find? Because I am one. I am a registered clinical nutritionist. I've been doing it for more than 20 years, but it depends what you're looking for in specific. I can probably help you. Gout sufferer here. What on earth do I eat? Some vegetables trigger it, and red meat trigger it, and fish trigger it. See, Nick, the problem is with gout, it all originated from eating, let's say, fructose. So once the uric acid goes up, you get gout inflammation or attacks. And now what happened is, it's all the fault, it's all fructose that caused this, because if the liver does not know how to kind of break down fructose well, so we end up getting inflammation in the liver, in the kidneys, and we end up getting high oxalates. So it kind of sucks. And what happens now, you say, well, hell, I am eating natural and back to eating what is more bioavailable. But the problem is, whether you eat red meat, you eat fish, you eat organs, specific vegetables high in oxalates, all that stuff will actually activate gout and makes a person suffer. I'm gonna make a new ebook on this, because I've been studying gout for the past 2-3 years, and it's becoming to a point where it's just, I have way too many patients that I get a lot of requests on it, and it kind of sucks. And so far I've been testing myself, because I used to have it, and I had it for a while, and it's just the problem is, I had it because it runs in my family as uric acid. And guess what? When you take niacin, if you're trying to kind of lower your cholesterol or prevent oxidation, well, niacin does increase uric acid in the blood. And increasing uric acid, you get gout issues. So it's a never win-win situation. But I am putting some stuff together that will help, especially like celery seed, a nitrate supplement, and glutathione to actually eliminate a lot of the toxic effect from the liver, that we can actually start healing the gout. But keep in mind, gout is mostly the oxalates that actually all the crystals are actually accumulating together, and the only reason this is happening is because you don't have much magnesium in your body, and sometimes calcium, because calcium binds to oxalates. So every time you're eating any type of vegetables that have oxalates, for example, or red meat or fish, always include a piece of cheese, imported cheese, because it has a little bit more calcium. Or you can add like 1 cup of bone broth, or you can take bone meal, because you need that calcium, but you need high amounts of magnesium as well too, because magnesium is the only one that will actually break down uric acid. But keep your eyes open, because I'll probably, when I finish writing the PDF ebook, I'll talk about it a little bit more in specific. Having Duke is like having a baby. 100%. A big freaking baby. You know, he went from 14 pounds to 100 pounds at age 9 months. So he grew like really fast, and he used to kind of, run and jump on me. So I used to kind of carry him, and he got used to it. So now imagine him running when he sees me, and he's 100 pounds. So he knocks me down. So it's very, very tough to sometimes play with him. He's a big boy, and he's very strong. I didn't think he was that strong till we actually were walking once in the field, and it was like still icy a bit. And there pops a rabbit, and Duke just goes after it on the leash, and I have the choker on him because we're out in the mountains, and he pulls me 30 feet behind him. I was like a freaking fly behind him. I was insane. Wildlife, dandelion, hibiscus, and milk thistle in tea form is good. 100% it is. Make sure you are getting some good quality, and make sure when you're actually boiling it, let it sit for about 15 minutes so it becomes nice and heavy, then kind of enjoy it. Can you please spell that? Spell what? You have to ask me that question again. I can't remember what I mentioned earlier. L-theanine makes me tired. It does. So L-theanine, so the way it works, there's some individuals, so this is what happened with L-theanine. Some individuals, when they take it, they get depressed, or they get anxiety attack, or they kind of feel lost. Some people will actually feel relaxed. Some will actually get too relaxed to get to a point where they're really, really tired. And if you take it with coffee, it makes you focus. It makes you focus, and you're very, very sharp. And what happens is, if you're the type of person that like to manage their time, it would be ideal to take it, because it will shut your brain completely. It will shut your brain completely and will allow you to focus on, let's say, the project or something you're working on. But if you take it by itself, especially in the evening, it's just going to shut your brain off, and it's just going to help you fall asleep better as well. So it does have its pluses in the morning with coffee, and it does have pluses at night for relaxation. There is no need to take it during the daytime. That's why during the daytime, I would suggest taking L-tyrosine. Are cod liver oil caps fine? It depends how they're actually processed and how they're actually, and what kind of capsule they're using. The gel cap, it depends what it's made from. Because a lot of that stuff, they put glycerin, and they put vitamin E's and a whole bunch of other crap, and they put like vitamin E synthetic form. So it's almost like you're causing pro-inflammation instead of anti-inflammation. So cod liver oil, not fish oil, omegas for ADHD and magnesium, yes. So cod liver oil is a lot more extracted and a lot safer than your generic fish oil, because the generic fish oil usually comes from, let's say, anchovies and other cheap fish that they tend to oxidize very fast. So the one I've seen is like anchovies and sardines. That's like the most common one because they're the cheapest. If you go cod liver oil, they're actually able to extract a lot higher amount and without having any oxidization at all, which is really good. Any thoughts on Tatka versus Oxbile? Like I've used Oxbile, and works super good for, especially if you have no gallbladder. I have not used Tatka because I couldn't get it here locally, but it does have similar function, specifically for the bile flow. Because keep in mind, the liver will produce bile and it'll actually put that bile, stores it in the gallbladder. So whenever you're eating fat, that's when the gallbladder will actually release that strength of bile. Oxbile, I've used it, works really good. Tatka, I have not used it, but it does very similar function as well too. It just enhances the production of bile within the liver. So, and keep in mind, bile is made from mostly cholesterol. So if your body is struggling, let's say, with high cholesterol, sometimes taking Tatka or Oxbile will actually reduce the cholesterol because it's going to actually create more bile for you. Difference in between, I never really looked into it much to see if there's much in difference. Because I haven't, see, I hate talking about a product that I have not used, but maybe I should actually use it and kind of give you a little more information, because anybody can go and search it up and look at scientific research and see, okay, this is what Tatka does and this is what Oxbile do, but you know, which one is better? Should I try that one or should I try that one? I've tried Oxbile, I know exactly how it works and how well it works. I have not tried Tatka, so I don't want to just kind of tell you what I see on the internet and tell you, hey, you know, this is what it does and this is how it does it. Because, you know, anybody can definitely see that research, right? I'll have to try it and actually give you my feedback on it, because keep in mind, I like to mega dose on a lot of the stuff to see exactly how it works. The unfortunate thing is I cannot get it here locally, so I do have to order it. Because a lot of the stuff right now, especially with our Canadian customs, they're stopping a lot of stuff to actually come in. Please make a PDF about focus and comprehension, because I'm sure many people will benefit. 100%, I'll do that, Mozart. I'm gonna actually put this here. I'm gonna put the information here, so I'm gonna actually look into Tatka and maybe buy the supplement and test it. Test supplement, and we're gonna make ebook on comprehension focus. I'll definitely put that information together, and hopefully I can have a better answer and more of a focused answer in regards to the product. I just don't want to just give you just basic information. I hate doing that. What do you think about NMN, you mean, right? Lily, are you talking about nicotinamide nucleotide? If you are, for longevity, it works good. I've tried both. So there's two different ones. There's NMN, nicotinamide nucleotide. I can't even remember the name. Sometimes I forget it. It's so big. And there's another one called NR, nicotinamide riboside. So the NMN requires one enzymatic process to convert to NAD. NR requires two enzymatic process to convert to NAD, but NR is much higher and much more bioavailable. I currently been taking NR, nicotinamide riboside. I have the link in my bio for the one I usually take. It works a lot better, that's from my point of view. And because of ribose, because I used to take D-ribose before, D-ribose is one of the molecule or one of the sugar molecule that turns on your mitochondria. So it does support heart health. So that's the only reason I like it. And there was a claim years ago that if you activate your mitochondria and you do a HIIT training, you can actually potentially destroy the damaged cells and rejuvenate brand new cells, not with the same gene, with a different gene, like it's a gene expression. So this way you can actually, if there's a disease, you can technically destroy that disease with D-ribose. And that's why D-ribose has always been very expensive. What is good for low thyroid levels? So you have hypo. There's iodine, there's selenium, there's L-tyrosine, there's zinc, there's copper, and there's magnesium to actually help with the methylation. I'm going back the other way, guys, because I did miss a few questions. Sorry. Taurine powder and cleanses your arteries and help blood flow. Yes. Antiplatelet. Yes, antiplatelet, it does work for that. Antichlorine as well. Enhances arterial flexibility. Your eyes, your brain, your heart has the most amounts of taurine in it. Our body overutilizes taurine so much, especially in the environment we live, because because it does get a lot of toxics from your body and all the stuff that you smell from the environment. So taurine gets overused quite a bit. You can I take 9 grams a day, 3 grams 3 times a day. You mix it with magnesium chloride. That's why you probably as well, you notice, you can see there's magnesium taurate, automatically has taurine mix, but the problem is you don't get enough. So I take magnesium by itself and I take taurine powder by itself. Nikki, hello, how are you? I'm doing good, Nikki. I hope you're doing good as well. Tom, I love your X3 bar. Tom, you know, it works really good. I've had it for probably like 4 years, and what's his name that gave it to me? I met him years ago. Who makes it? Well, I forgot his name. Let me see if I can get his name again. Dr. John Jaquish. So he actually gave me the shirt, and he wanted me to actually start selling his X3 bar machine within Canada. And I started doing that. That was like, I wanted to actually get into that business, and I started doing that, and he saw that it was doing so well, so he took it back. So now he ships everywhere from the US to Canada from one destination. But yeah, I like the machine. It works not bad. But you know, I do miss the weights. Sometimes that is good to have. I don't know if you use it yourself, Tom, or not. Wildlife dandelion, hibiscus, and milk thistle tea form is as good as supplements. Sometimes the supplements are better than the tea because sometimes they use extract. Less dry. Manif, what do you mean by less dry? Are we talking about the Tatka that we were talking earlier? Red yeast rice, blood pressure? No. Red yeast rice has nothing to do with blood pressure. Red yeast rice is mostly for cholesterol. So red yeast rice, look at it this way. It does very similar effect as niacin, which is nicotinic acid or B3. The only difference between the two, niacin, if you have uric acid issue or you have a genetic uric acid that it is high, niacin will increase uric acid. So it's better to kind of stick with the red yeast rice. But overall, if you have no issues with uric acid, then I say niacin over red yeast rice. Can my dad get off insulin if he been dependent on it for 30 years? Yeah, if it's type 2 diabetes, anybody can get off of it. All you gotta do is just fix your lifestyle, do some intermittent fasting, and start taking berberine. As long as it is type 2 diabetes, 100% you could. You don't need the insulin drugs or whatever he's on, because all that stuff you can actually wean off of it. I drink 2 liters a day of milk. What for? Is it raw milk? I hope it is raw milk. If it is raw milk, hey, all the powers to you. I wish I can get it here, but we can't. What niacin is best to lower cholesterol? D-boy, this is, it has to be nicotinic acid. Some will actually say nicotinic acid, some will actually say B3. That's what you have to look for. If you see the word niacinamide, then don't buy it, because it's used for something else. Okay. Hi, thanks for all your info. I appreciate it. Cheers. Fluoride in your eyes. Fluoride in your eyes. You need magnesium and you need nitrate to actually increase the blood flow. But the fluoride in your eyes, is it on all the time or does it come and go? Because I've seen some it comes and go, and some it comes like once and it's gone for a long time. Sometimes it's like eye strain, but most of the time is well, how can I say this? Too much smartphone usage, too much TV usage, too much blue light usage. So that happens with the fluoride. So the best thing, again, for the eyes, you have nitrate to increase the blood flow and to relaxes if there's any eye strains. I use taurine. Taurine is actually incredible for the eyes because we carry the most taurine in the eyes. So keep in mind, any symptoms happens in the eyes, the first deficiency is lost is taurine. So fix that deficiency. But definitely you can add bilberine, you can add lutein, and you can take magnesium. All they actually do great. And it works really, really well, because I've had fluoride once from overstrain in my eyes, and woke up one day and you can see stupid things, it's fluorine in your eyes. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But it takes roughly about 3 days to fix it with taurine. That's how long it took me. And it is fixable. How to treat H. pylori and not come again. I did a video on this, like very detailed video, to take like silver and take certain enzymes and certain protocol to follow. Check it out. I'll actually give you all the information you require. I have tried everything, so it seems to be a fat absorption problem. You have tried everything, so it seems to be a fat absorption problem. So what's going on? Like is your lipids are going up too high? If your body is not absorbing fats properly, so it goes down to, your gallbladder bile is not sufficient, let's say, or the liver bile is not sufficient enough. Could be your pancreas, it's not releasing lipase proper enough. And or you could be one of these 33%, which is I fall in that category, that you cannot break down or emulsify fats properly. So technically, if you're able to, like, I can only consume 30 grams of saturated fats a day. If I do more than that, you're gonna notice that either your lipids increase or you're gonna end up having fluoride. Fluoride, that means when you poop, you're gonna have fluorine in poops. That means your body's just flushing out the fat without being absorbed. So don't force it, or don't force it. You listen to influencers that you have to eat like 50 or 100 or 120 grams of fats. It's not doable. And for you to take supplements just so you can actually increase that, just what for? Because it's not gonna fix the problem. All you're doing is just adding supplements to actually help with the absorption. So you have to figure that out. If your body can only handle so little, that means you have to get other source of energy if need be. If 20-30 grams a day is not sufficient enough to give you proper energy, then you might have to include some carbohydrates to get the energy from. Because every person is designed differently. I don't know what type of diet you are. I don't know if you're actually eating just mostly meat or carnivorous, or you're just on a basic diet. Okay, I'm just berberine affect thyroid. Berberine affect thyroid. I haven't come across that. At all. And I've been testing it for 1 year, because so I've gotten 6 blood tests over the year, and I check the free T3, reverse T3, free T4. I'll never check the TSH because it's bullshit by itself, and the thyroid has never been affected. So I don't think I've seen any issues with that yet, and or with my current patient either. So MTHFR genetic gene problem, what to do? So are you taking like any methylated supplements of your vitamin Bs, like your methylfolate, methylcobalamin, P5P? Are you taking any of that stuff to kind of work with your MTHR genetic? What's good for sinuses? So what's good for sinuses? What would you like to know about sinuses? Because it could be many things. The one I try to use is I use a digestive enzymes that actually, because if you take digestive enzymes on an empty stomach, it actually breaks down mucus. If that's the issue that you're experiencing, if it comes and goes, then you can definitely take digestive enzymes on an empty stomach, not with food, to actually break down the mucus. Some take quercetin or bromelain as well. Bromelain could be consumed, part of the digestive enzymes on empty stomachs as well too. That's the only way you can actually break down the mucus, if that's what you're kind of referring to, or that's where the issue is you're having. High taurine levels in Japanese. Is it? I haven't looked into that. Let me put this in my notes. High taurine levels in. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my notes here. I gotta look into this. Probably it could be high. Is it because of certain foods they eat, possibly, that it is much higher than the standard American diet or other diets? I'll have to check into this. I don't have much information on that. Never really looked into it per culture, whether there is any that has it much higher than others. Thank you. And yes, I woke up with it today. Eye supplements for kids. You got bilberry for the kids. Bilberry would be a good start for them. It's one of the safest for the kids, and one of the best to actually enhance vision as well too. And dry eyes and dry skin, etc. Just make sure with the dry eye, dry skin, make sure your cod liver oil you're taking at least 2 tablespoons. So in the dry season, like I got a dry season here for about 6 months where we at, and I take, the only way I can prevent that, I take 1 tablespoon in the morning, 1 tablespoon at night of cod liver oil. That is a lot of DHA and EPA, but it is required because we live in that environment. And or sometimes I would add olive oil in a diet. I know sometimes it's better to get saturated fats, but if you're not able to kind of break down saturated fats properly, then it's probably better to get it from olive oil or possibly polyunsaturated, which is your omegas. So when you have a dry eyes or dry skin, it doesn't mean that your bile or your lipase not working correctly. They could be working fine. It's just whether that you require more. There was a formula a couple of years ago that they came up with, and I believe it was 1 teaspoon per every 25 pound of body weight. I'll have to check to see the calculation again. I have a question. Go ahead and ask the question. What happens if your T3 and T4 are low? So is my TSH. Still is irrelevant. You'll actually have to break it down. You have to get your free T3. Your T4 converts to T3. If it's not converting properly, that means you are hypo. So you either gotta take L-tyrosine into your diet, take possibly selenium, iodine, that would be your first initial start, because you want your T4 to convert to T3. Even if it's slow, it doesn't matter. But as well, based on your lifestyle, you know, if you're eating certain vegetables that actually has issues conflicting with thyroid hormones, and there's lots. There's like broccoli conflicts with that, kale conflicts with that. So there's a lot of different vegetables as well that conflict with the T4 and the T3 levels. A gorilla eats leaves, no animal protein. They have the gut for it, we don't. Imagine we're sitting here as a human and just eating, you know, leaves and fruits all day long. All you're gonna be end up doing is releasing gas, and you're gonna have a gut in front of you. And you can see a lot of the vegans out there, or a lot of the vegetable eaters or fruit eating, you know, they lose a lot of muscle mass and everything. They're so freaking super skinny, and they're malnutritioned. Is it good to eat foods that is high in magnesium? Is it good to eat foods that is high in magnesium? If you can find any, a lot of the food that is high in magnesium doesn't really give you a proper information of magnesium found in that food, because our food and everything that we eat has already been overpopulated and overgrown, that a lot of the minerals are lost. Even if you're eating certain food that is supposed to be the highest, you're still not going to be able to saturate your body correctly, especially if we're looking for saturation of 6 milligrams per deciliter for magnesium, or for RBC magnesium. You're not going to get that from food at all. Bilberry, yes, that's good for the vision, for the eye. What's a good supplement? What's a daily supplement or supplements to take every day? It depends on your goal. Every person is different. You know, I take about 8 different supplements myself, 8 different vitamins a day. It depends on your goal. Depends if you're treating your heart, treating your liver, treating your kidney, your lungs. If you're just looking for overall health, the best thing you can do for overall health is take an anti-inflammation supplements such as quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin E complex, nicotinamide riboside. That's one of them as well too. You can take cod liver oil. So it all depends on the goal. Then you can kind of pick and choose the supplements, but most of the supplements, they should always have at least 2 or 3 that are more of a anti-inflammatory supplement. In case there's any type of inflammation, then you can actually get rid of it. And you always have to kind of have, you know the anti-inflammation supplement you're taking. You want one for the gut, one for, let's say, your lungs, one for your heart, one for your overall system, because each one will actually play a huge role in a different part of your body, and depends on the dose as well too. Is bile salts good? Yes, it is, especially if you have a gallbladder. Okay. How can I, there's a lot of questions that I missed because the screen kind of skips, but I'm running out of time. I'm just gonna, if it skips, it's fine. If it skips and I missed your question, direct message me, then we can kind of go from there. I'll definitely check it out. Audrey, how can I lower LP small a? Lipoprotein small a, you can lower it by taking niacin. That's your main key. You have vitamin E complex, magnesium chloride, berberine, and sometimes nitrate supplement will help with that. Lipo A or lipoprotein small a is very tricky, and sometimes it is genetic. You just want to try to kind of keep it below 30 millimolars per liter, and if it's above that, these are the main supplements you gotta take. But keep in mind, once you take these supplements, it doesn't just happen within 30 or 40 days. Sometimes it could take up to a year or year and a half before it actually lowers it. It doesn't just happen within a month or two. So if that's your aim and that's your goal, you just gotta make sure you are ready and you're up for it, because it is gonna take a couple years. And once you lower it with these supplements, you'll have to decide on at least one or two of these supplements and take them for life, especially if it's generic. What about gallstones? Gallstones, you can actually do like a gallstone cleanse. There was one article written years ago, and I did a gallstone cleanse before. It is very, very harsh and it is very, very painful, but it does consist of eating apples for 3 days in a row. Now, the only reason you eat apples because you have to increase the malic acid in your body, and what the malic acid does, it vasodilates and it opens up all your duct. So once you actually, on the third day at night, you drink 1 cup of cold press organic olive oil and half a cup of lemon, fresh lemon squeezed, and you sleep on your right side like in a poop position. And in the middle of the night, you're gonna wake up, usually either in the middle of the night or the next day when you wake up. You're gonna be in a massive pain, because what happened is olive oil, which is monounsaturated fats, they actually stimulate the stones. So now, since your duct is open from eating so much apples, the olive oil and the citrus of the lemon is gonna start to stimulates the stones, and they're gonna start to break them, and they pass through the duct, and you actually poop them out. So you probably end up sitting on the toilet for about 2 to 3 hours, and you're gonna be in a lot of pain. Sometimes the temperature of the body goes up high, you end up getting stomach pain, so on and so forth. The whole process could last anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. And once it's done, you're gonna notice there's a lot of floaters, and these floaters are the stones that actually were excreted out of your gallbladder. I generally want to know if fasting during Ramadan is dangerous, as they don't even drink. Now, so what they're doing is, this is called like a dry fast. So dry fast, it's not dangerous, because during Ramadan, I know they fast and they only eat 1 meal a day. So that 1 meal a day you're eating, you're still replenishing your body with enough fluids and enough protein, carbohydrates, and fats, for example. If you're doing a dry fast as a prolonged fasting, like we're talking 3 days, your body can handle the dry fast for about 3 days. Over 3 days, it depends on the person, you can start to lose balance, because due to a lot of mineral loss. So, I would not recommend going higher than that. I've seen some people push for more, but 3 days would be the most as a dry fast. But during the fasting of Ramadan, they only eat 1 meal a day, which is at the end, which is fine, a 24-hour dry fast. I've done it numerous times, and there's no harm, or it doesn't really conflict or cause any issues at all. It's 2 meals a day. We can eat from sundown to sunup. So the dry fast is not gonna really affect you much with no water or nothing. We have 9 to 10 hours of eating time in Ramadan. So it should be fine. Please repeat olive oil amount and lemon amount for gallbladder cleanse. Thank you. Olive oil is 1 cup, and lemon amount is half a cup. Is there something other than eating apples and drinking olive oil? I'm scared to do that. Apples for malic acid. Now, what other things have malic acid? You can actually have apple cider vinegar. But you have to have that malic acid, and apples has the richest or the highest amounts of malic acid, and of course it's a fiber as well in it. But so what happens is with the apples, every time you feel hungry, every time you feel thirst, you eat an apple. So you could be eating. So when I did it, I was averaging anywhere between 16 to 22 apples a day. So that's how much I went through actually. So that was day 1, day 2, day 3. I was down to about 12 apples. I couldn't eat them anymore. I was just stuffed with them. But you'll notice that when you actually go into poop, everything comes out because your duct are wide open, which is pretty amazing. Anything else you can take malic acid? Some people, they like to drink like apple, you can juice your own apples, but make sure they are fresh. I'm just seeing what else there is other than that is high in malic acid. The only reason I kind of don't recommend, any other fruits, just because they're super high in sugar and you don't want to end up doing it that way. And malic acid in apples finds to be the best, and because it has pretty good fibers in them. Yeah, some oranges and lemons would be ideal, but due to the amount of sugars, wouldn't really recommend it. So stick with the apples. That's it. Unless you want to end up taking like supplements of malic acid instead of eating apples and kind of fast for 3 days, you can definitely do that way. Is there supplements to get rid of gallbladder stones? I haven't come across one. I know some companies were actually kind of making the whole 3-day cleanse and everything of gallstones, where they actually create like almost like a gallon of water with malic acid and other things, but I don't think there is one. Let me just check. I haven't seen one. Gallbladder stone supplement. Let's see what they have. So yeah, you can't really see other than they say, well, take vitamin C and vitamin E or bitter herbs to stimulate the gallbladder, but doesn't really clean it up like the bitter herbs. So let me see if there's anything in specific. I wonder if that company I have talked to before, if they still exist. They used to actually make a drink, a gallon of drink you take with some drops under the tongue, where it actually stimulates it. But that was like years ago. That was like 6 years ago. That was the first time I tried the gallbladder cleanse. It's pretty brutal actually. I was in pain for like 4 hours. And after that, like I did it once every year. I did it last year, didn't even feel anything. Once you clean up your gallbladder the first and second time, after that you're just another cleanse and you don't feel anything anymore, which is great. Yeah, I don't see that one. Maybe it wasn't popular or didn't maybe do any good, because a lot of them are just saying to include like artichoke and milk thistle, all that stuff. But all it is just helps with the liver and everything, but not really break down the gallbladder stones. And the only thing that does that is the malic acid and the olive oil to stimulate them, because olive oil is the only fat that will actually stimulate the bile inside the gallbladder. Yeah, I can't find that company. I don't think they actually exist anymore. Yeah, I don't see it. So they have one. Let's see this one here. They claim you can drink apple juice, but the problem with apple juice, If you're doing it yourself, fresh is fine. But if you're actually buying it pre-juiced from the stores, there's a lot of chemicals in it to actually preserve the apple juice, and it's not gonna have as much malic acid unless you buy the organic in a glass container where it's actually concentrated. Yeah, I can't see any right now. I miss a lot of questions. Every time I pause, I miss a lot of questions. Isn't that green apples only? I don't know if it's only green apples. So what I did is, based on what we had locally, I kind of bought the apples, but you want to check to see which apples technically have the highest amount of malic acid. So if it is green apples, by all means go to green apples. Like the ones I end up getting were actually imported from Fiji. I just like the flavor, and they have, a little crunch to them. Because most of the apples here locally, they're pretty much garbage. Nothing grows in Canada that is good with the weather we have. And there's only like a specific apple that I get here locally is from BC. They're like this big, and it's red, delicious, crunchy. They're actually really good. I've done it with that last year, but we don't get them here till like the month of November. And it is good to actually, whenever you're doing detoxification of, let's say, liver or gallbladder, is always doing it in the cooler seasons. So anywhere from, let's say, October and up, October all the way to roughly April. That would be like your ideal time to actually do a cleanse. Never do it during the summer season, because what's gonna happen is your body, your liver, your organs overheat quite fast. So you wanna make sure you're doing it in a cooler season. That's very, very important. So every time I've done the gallbladder cleanse, always been like in a month of either October, or I would do it like in, say, like February, just because it is much cooler of a season for us. My hair is falling out like crazy after thyroidectomy and neck dissection due to cancer on level 150. So your hair is still thinning out. Would be nice to know, like, after you did your thyroidectomy, what is your free T3 levels? Because the only reason sometimes we end up losing hair, because it's not so much the hyper, it's more of a hypo, where T4 is not converting to T3. And if that's the issue, we have to fix that. Sometimes, supplements do help, but when you have like a dysfunctional thyroid, you have to actually fix it with the lifestyle. Like, the supplements, don't get me wrong, they do help. Like, we're talking, for example, L-tyrosine, selenium, iodine, all that stuff does help perfectly, but you just want to make sure you're doing it right after, because once that follicle is dead, once that follicle is about 2 years old and it has been dead for 2 years, it's pretty tough to revive it back again. So I fell in that category. Like, as you can see, I had thinning hair, especially when I was off a grid, because even though my thyroid was good, but my sleep sucked. Like, it's been a year and 2 months since I got my dog, Duke, my little puppy, and the lack of sleep causes thin out of hair. And for the first 6 months, waking up every 2 hours, and imagine taking him outside in pitch dark where you have birds and coyotes and you can see eyes flashing everywhere, and he's only like 15, 16, or even 20 pounds small puppy, taking him outside to poop every 2 hours. It was painful. So I had to get up and I had to get dressed, put the shirt on, put my toque on, take him outside. He'll walk around, sniff for about 10-15 minutes. He poops, goes back inside, put him in the kennel. I go to bed. 2 hours later, he's scratching. He wants to go outside again. So imagine doing this every single day for like almost, took roughly almost about 5-6 months. Then after that, he would actually sleep 6 hours. So which was perfect. 6 hours was nice. And now recently since I've been back in town, now he does it almost every 8 hours, but he still wakes me up at 4 or 5 o'clock. So that routine kind of killed me, and that's why I'm kind of exhausted. Definitely would love to have like a 2 weeks vacation where I can sleep in every day for 7-8 hours. I barely get 4 hours of sleep, and I think that has a huge impact on your health, especially your thyroid, because your hormones are not kicking in properly, and you end up having like hair loss or thin out of your hair. Like even if you're taking supplements, if you're not sleeping, what's the point? But it is what it is, right? You just gotta make the best out of it no matter what. Salam alaikum. Let's see if I miss any other questions here. Maybe I'm talking too much per specific question and we miss out. What vitamin is good for dry hair? Cod liver oil is your most important one. Your L-tyrosine as an amino acid is really good for the hair as well too. Vitamin E, make sure it's not tocopherols, it has to be tocotrienols, because tocopherols is a synthetic. You have to get tocotrienols because it's natural, and try to get it from palm or from annatto, not your basic soybean or anything like that. That would be great for dry hair. Another thing you can put on your hair would be castor oil. Is that what it's called? I have my notes here. Castor oil, I think it's called. Yeah, castor oil you can actually put on your hair, put like a little bit and massage your scalp so you can actually get more oil, or you can actually do with vitamin D or olive oil as well too. But mostly it is internal, and an internal issue is your deficiency in EPA and DHA, which just comes from fish, or let's say grass-fed food. Let's see here. Cod liver oil brand name you recommend. The one I take is by Arctic. I've been taking it for probably like 10 years now. And I've tested the omega-6 to omega-3 status. And my omega-3 is in the upper 99 percentile. So that's the one I like. I tried other ones, but they have like a fishy taste. Especially the one made from sardines or anchovies, they have a fishy taste, and their level of EPA and DHA is very, very low. Arctic, yes, Arctic cod liver oil. I think I might have it in my link under favorite supplements. Which brand again? Arctic. I'm just gonna go. I buy it from iHerb, guys. And I'm just gonna get the picture of iHerb. Too bad I can't just share it on the screen here. But yeah, it's Arctic cod liver oil. It's the company name is Nordic Naturals. That's the one I use. I used to use one cod liver oil. It used to be fermented, but it tastes disgusting. So that's the one I take. I've been taking it roughly for about 10 years now. So the brand name is Nordic Naturals. So I'm just gonna see if there's any more questions. If there isn't that many questions anymore, I'm gonna call it a night. I take the one green pasture fermented cod liver oil, but that's the one I used to take. I thought it was disgusting flavor. I used to take that one, the pasture fermented. It's really, really good stuff. It's just I couldn't handle the taste. And it is very expensive. It's not cheap. For the amount we get, it's not cheap at all. What about knee pain when squatting? Knee pain is usually related to oxalate foods you eat. I would actually, or nightshade foods even. It's not so much the supplement you want to protect the knee. Like you can take collagen, you can take vitamin C to enhance collagen, you can take magnesium. All that stuff works good, but it's the oxalation of some of the vegetables you're getting possibly. Internal shaking while digesting. Internal shaking. I wonder how your pancreas is doing, because your pancreas is what helps with the release of lipase and amylase and trypsin, or you can call it protease if you want. And if you feel a shake, that means it's either being overstimulated, or sometimes it could be lacking of enzymes to actually break down the food. It's good to monitor what specific food item is it doing that. So what I would recommend is eating protein by itself and monitor. Then the next day, like this is one of the meals, and the next day only eat fats and monitor, because if it's only fat, sometimes it could be either the pancreas or the gallbladder. Then eat your carbohydrates and monitor. So this way, if you know that it's happening, let's just say as an example, we know it's happening when you're eating fat, so we know it's something to do with the pancreas or the gallbladder. If you ate protein or you ate carbs and you felt that, then we know it's all related to the pancreas. So we'll have to actually dig a little bit more deeper and do some blood testing. If I stop taking my blood pressure pills for 2 days and then it goes up again, what can I do? Well, it goes up. Your high blood pressure goes up because you cannot just stop blood pressure medication. Blood pressure medication, they're designed by pharmaceuticals, so it creates a massive side effect and massive surge. So you have to wean off slowly. You cannot just stop. Once you know the issue and you're fixing it and your blood pressure is being stable, you have to wean off slowly. If you suddenly stop, the increase of blood pressure can take anywhere between 11 to about 20 days before it goes back to normal. And between the 11 to 20 days, you're putting yourself at such a high risk of having a stroke. Thank you for the content you share. You are a blessing. Thank you so much for you guys' support. I haven't got many likes today. I don't know what's going on, guys. You are better than my doctor. Thank you. Cheers. Acid reflux, taking betaine hydrochloric. What else can you recommend? Hey, thanks so much, guys, for the likes. Cheers. Acid reflux, you have to combine food combining. So that means you cannot. I'll give you a quick example. Acid reflux helps amazing after your food, not during your food. So you have your protein, you take your hydrochloric acid. Keep in mind, the way hydrochloric acid works, it doesn't mean you take one capsule only. So you eat your meal and you take your hydrochloric acid pill. Within about 15 minutes, if you did not feel a warmth feeling in your chest or felt like a heartburn feeling, that means one capsule is not enough to replenish your acidity. So the next time you have a meal, you take 2 capsules. The same thing, you monitor for 15 minutes after you finish eating. If you didn't feel that warmth feeling, that means you still not have enough acidity. So the next meal you take 3 capsules. And if you felt the warmth and the heartburn feeling, That means 2 capsules would be required to take per meal until you actually start feeling the symptoms. Once you start feeling the symptoms on 2 capsules, then you reduce to 1. But that feeling has to be there, okay? And that's how you increase your acidity level. And when I talk about food combining, that means you cannot mix anything that requires acidity and anything that neutralizes acidity together. So imagine if you're eating protein, and protein requires a lot of acidity to break down, then suddenly you're eating fruits or you're eating resistant starches where actually it's more alkalining. So it will neutralize your acid level in the gut. So therefore you're gonna actually increase the heartburn effect and increase the acid reflux effect. So if you're gonna have your protein, you wait 45 minutes, then you have your carbs. That's what I mean by food combining. I hope that answers your question. A lot of detailed. Oops. Every food that isn't meat, it will shake, and then blood pressure drops. Every food that isn't meat, so we're talking about carbohydrates and fats, Natalie. So carbohydrates, so it is your pancreas, and fats, it is your pancreas and your gallbladder. Okay, so you have an issue with both possibly, or one. What about fats by itself? Like if you're eating cheese, do you get that vibration as well? Or that shake? Sorry guys, I'm just going back up again because I missed a few questions. Just give me a sec here. I'm just gonna take notes because some of the questions you guys ask are really good. Okay, so every food, okay. Is dementia run into the family? What to do to prevent it, please? So dementia, what happened is it's lack of fat in the body. Your brain consists of roughly about 80% fats or cholesterol or lipids, you want to call it. And what happened is our diets consist of more carbohydrates, and that's why we see a lot of issues with, let's say, Alzheimer's or dementia. If you actually reduce that amount or you go on a low carb diet, you will actually reduce the risks by far, even thought if it runs in the family. And or as well, you can add some vitamins. So I have my list of vitamins that recommended for dementia. Would be your first one, caprylic acid 8, not just caprylic acid, which is called MCT, because the one mixed 10 and 8, it'll be tough on the liver. So just get MCT 8 would be great, cod liver oil would be great, vitamin D. Try to get vitamin D from food or cod liver oil. Never really take it as a supplement because it could cause possible calcifications. And I would increase some antioxidants. Antioxidants would be, and we're sticking, if you notice, more fat-soluble vitamins. Antioxidants would be like your vitamin E, your vitamin A, and possibly you can add quercetin. But for dementia, it is very easily fixed and controlled. Just you have to reduce the amount of fructose and reduce the amount of starches in your diet as well too. Best way to increase iron. I am aware of liver, but what about beets? Why do you want to increase iron? Like, you can get iron from eating red meat, steaks. No need to actually take a supplement or anything. Yeah, it is found in organs. It is found in... So there's different type of iron. There's heme iron that is found in vegetables, and there's your regular iron that is found in red meat, and that's the one you want because it's more bioavailable, or you can get it from skillet when you're cooking it. But don't overdo it because it will age you as well too. Okay, so you gotta be careful on that. Any advice on histamine problems or MCAS? There used to be like a really good product for histamine. If you are like a histamine intolerance and stuff, I think it was called diamine oxidase, I think it was called, and it will actually break down the histamine in your body. You can actually get it as a supplement. I used to take it years ago. I think it was called DAO. I can't remember what it's called. Diamine oxidase, I think it was called. But as well, I used to take it with quercetin. So it's really good to actually break down histamine if you actually get it often. Any vitamins for cravings, trace minerals. The cravings, your body's giving you a signal that it needs some minerals, and what we tend to feed it is sugar. So every time we get a craving and our mind goes crazy, we automatically think of sugar or think of something sweet. But all it is your body telling you, hey, I need some dense nutrients to fulfill the missing gaps. So technically what it needs is trace minerals to replenish your electrolytes. My blood pressure is only high when I'm having anxiety. Normal is 120/70, 140, 160/80/90 when having anxiety. Take L-theanine. Control your anxiety. If that's all it is, if it's an anxiety issue, take L-theanine. Magnesium does help, but you have to saturate. But in the meantime, while you saturate, you can take L-theanine, 200 milligrams in the morning, 200 milligrams in the evening. If it does happen throughout the daytime, then take L-tyrosine as well to make sure they are all on an empty stomach. Marcia Garcia, hi, I love your comment. Thanks so much, Marcia. Cheers. Thanks so much for the support. 1 gram of ashwagandha seems promising for anxiety. I am so chill on it. Yeah, 100%. Works amazing as well too. Some people like it, some don't. I don't know if I like it. I kind of don't like it much. I missed some couple questions. I'm going back up again. I read that question way too much. Marcia, what amount of vitamin D3 supplement do you recommend? Vitamin D is supposed to take about 1,000 IU per 25 pound of body weight daily. Now, I take about 50,000 IU or 100,000 IU for therapeutic dose. But keep in mind, when you're taking magnesium, just be careful and based on your goals. It is better if you get it from like egg yolk or wild salmon or cod liver oil, for example, than you taking it as a synthetic version, unless you're able to find like a natural version, because synthetic version does increase the chances of having more calcification if you don't have enough magnesium to methylate it, or you have K2 in your body available. So just kind of keep an eye on that. My son is 14 years old. I have very dry skin and dry hair. What can I do to help? Take cod liver oil. You need EPA and DHA, your omega-3. You're probably deficient. Manif, yeah, DAO, the enzyme to break down histamine. That's the one I taken. I think it was called diamine oxidase. I can't remember the exact full name, but that is DAO then. Okay, perfect. Have you taken that? Is that what you've tried? Because I haven't tried anything else. I've tried that one, works really good. See, the problem with me is I try one supplement, and the problem is I always do mega dose. So if I find it works, that's it. I stick to it. I never really search for another one, but there's probably ongoing basis of a lot of new supplements coming out and launching, or give better effect as well too. I just have to test them, and I'm sometimes. To be honest with you, 2 years ago I ended up stopping from testing supplements because I always do mega doses, and I end up doing some stuff way too much, and I end up being out of it for almost like 3 weeks. Stomach pain, headaches, palpitations, irregular heartbeat. It's just I went overboard, and I said, that's it. This is my last testing. I'm never doing that stuff again for 2 years, and not even 6 months later, here I am back again testing it. So it is fun, but it is dangerous as well too. Gained 80 pounds in 2 years. I'm 54, C1 to C7 injured badly when walking hearse. Anything I can do? Go back to your original roots. They've only ate what was bioavailable, made for the human body. Because once what you eat, what is bioavailable, made for the human body, then it's almost like you don't have to exercise as much to lose weight, because you actually mimic fasting. So what I'm talking about is just eating, meat, just meat by itself, like steaks, roasts, anything with meat, lambs, no cheeses, no dairy, no eggs, because a lot of the stuff causes inflammation. Limited amount of wild salmon if you're able to get some. But yeah, that's the only way you can actually restore your health, reduce your HbA1c, you can lose weight, and you'll feel a lot healthier. Even thought the food might be a little bit boring, but trust me, it will actually fix a lot of the issues you're experiencing, and your body loss will start to actually come down by itself naturally. L-theanine, you got it correct, 100% C-dub. What can I do for ringing in the ears? Is this happening all the time? Or it just comes and goes? Usually ringing in the ears sometimes is almost like a blood flow issue. I'd like to actually, one thing you can do, you can take magnesium, because it does control like nerve function. That's one option you can do, like nerve, as taking magnesium chloride, and make sure you take about 200 milligrams a day. Another thing is, I would recommend vitamin B, because it does actually fulfill any missing gaps or tinnitus issues, or let's say vertigo issue that is actually causing a ringing in the ear. But maybe get a vitamin B blood test panel done, so you can check the status, because if you are deficient, that would be like a good route to go to. Other than these two, I wouldn't recommend anything else other than them two. Should I stay away from red meat if I have high cholesterol? Well, it depends what is high. High cholesterol is irrelevant. It all depends on your inflammation factors, such as your triglyceride to HDL, your hsCRP, homocysteine, fibrinogen, HbA1c. All these are inflammatory factors, ApoB, LP small a. Man, if I am loading up on apples and onions, they have a lot of quercetin apparently. They do, yeah, especially onions does. And onions, the nice thing about it, it is a prebiotic for your gut. I stopped eating onions recently. We've been getting a lot of bad batches here in Canada for some reason. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to probably grow my own with a lot of this stuff going on. Never tried DAO. Yeah, give it a shot. See how that works for your histamine. Because I tried it and it works pretty amazing. And I'll use it right now just because my diet is very consistent. But every time I eat something that I know is going to cause it, I end up taking it. But it works really good, actually. And I've heard onions does increases your testosterone. I've tested it quite a bit. I don't know if it does or not, or it's just another bullshit. I have high heart rate of constant 100. How can I reduce it? It's your blood flow. Something's happening with the blood flow. It's just kind of being interrupted with your heart rate. That's actually causing that to spike. The first thing that I would try is probably get a nitrate supplement. I have the link within my bio. Once you take it, it's going to actually stable your heart rate. But would be interesting to know why it's kind of going up. It's probably your heart is on overdrive. And overdrive means that there could be some vessel damage. So definitely start taking nitrate supplement ASAP. And while you're doing that, I would highly recommend you getting a blood test to check your vessel damage, to see if there's your inflammation. I can give you a list of all these blood tests if you like. Send me a direct message and I'll give you the information you require. Is fried food bad? Well, yeah, it depends how it's fried. It depends how it's fried, because a lot of the oils they use already oxidized and overused. So you have to kind of be careful, unless you're doing it yourself. Now, if you're doing it yourself, I would only recommend you doing it with either suet or animal fat, or doing it with coconut oil. That's it. That's how you're supposed to, if you want to fry some food. Now, it depends what you're frying as well too, because some will actually cause carcinogenics, some will cause anti-nutrients, some will cause phytic acid. So you have to kind of know the food that you're cooking as well too, and the temperature you're cooking, because you can destroy a lot of good nutrients when you're frying food. If you're doing it more of a cheat, then yeah, fine. Let's do a cheat once a month or once every 2 weeks, right? But not on a daily eating habit. My results of cholesterol: total 188 triglyceride, HDL 146. No, total 188, triglyceride 146, HDL 34. Yeah, triglycerides are overboard, man. Like I don't know how's your sugar consumption or how's your resistant starch consumption, all that carbohydrates, you have to eliminate them. Add niacin, because we technically take your triglyceride, you divide it by your HDL, it's supposed to be below 1. If it's above 1, that means you are at a high risk. So to actually fix that, you start taking niacin of 500 milligrams, and you might have to increase the dose to actually kill off that triglyceride number. But watch your sugar intake, because you are consuming a little bit more than what your body can burn out. Keep that in mind. So by just having these two factors already, that's one of the inflammation that is high. So I wonder what the other inflammation are, if they are as high. If they are as high, that means you're causing oxidation. Should I take breaks from quercetin? Does it lower iron? It's not whether it lowers iron or not. So it is always good to cycle, whether it's a stimulant, a supplement or not. It is good to cycle it. For example, I take quercetin in the month of, I start from October to roughly April, and after that I stop, because we don't get enough, and sometimes due to the flu season, and you want your immunity to be strong and everything, so that would be good to take. Now, quercetin does have the ability sometimes to act as a chelation. So yes, it does bind to iron. I don't know if it binds to anything else, but I think mostly iron. So it does bind to iron, which lowers it, but it's not a big deal, because sometimes if you are especially a meat eater, we end up getting more iron than what we need. So sometimes there's a reason for some of these vitamins to actually conflict with others, because this way it will actually balance your body. If you've noticed your fatigue and you don't feel like doing certain things, then could be your iron could be too low. But iron, I'm not really worried about it too much because, you know, you don't want to take iron supplements and you don't want it to have it too high because it will actually activate cell cancer and it will actually age you as well. So you decide on that, whether you need to or not. I don't really recommend you taking quercetin daily for year after year. Take it for 6 months out of the year. Like your most crucial time that your immunity maybe need a support. Winter time probably. Take it in that season and stop. Then cycle it again. Take it in that season and stop. For testing, yeah, for testosterone increase, you know, that's what I heard, eating raw onions. MSM is good mineral, better than onions and garlic. The most needed mineral, yeah, for producing sulfate. You could take it, yeah. And the nice thing about MSM, it does cause arterial flexibility due to the sulfur. What is the name of the lab work that checks for inflammation? There's HSCRP, there's ApoB, ApoA1, ALP small a, there's homocysteine, there's fibrinogen, HbA1c, ESR, GFR. All these are inflammatory factors. If you want more information, definitely a direct message and I can send them to you by a message. This is for Charlotte. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Is there any way to get rid of COVID vaccine from the body? Prolonged fasting, 11 days with zeolite and taurine. What can skin psoriasis take treatment? Yeah, there is some creams you can use, but it is usually from the food you consume. So discontinue dairy, eggs, shellfish. I'm only 23 and have diastolic pressure. Don't want to take any pharma drugs. Well, you have to fix your diet. Like your lifestyle plays a huge role on this. And I'm not sure what you're eating or what you're consuming, but what it looks like, if your diastolic is high, that means your blood is getting coagulated. So possibly too much sugars in the diet. Is using a grapeseed oil good for cooking? Hell no. Discontinue, throw the damn thing away in the garbage. It's pure oxidization. Grapeseed oil should never hit the freaking shelf. Pure oxidization and pure inflammation. This is worse than, this is similar like canola oil and vegetable oil and corn oil and soybean oils. All that stuff is just going to cause oxidization. Should never be used for cooking. Was the frying oil? Oh, I said animal fats. Animal fats would be like duck fat, pork fat, beef fat, suet, or could be coconut oil. Because you need something that can hold a high temperature without being oxidized. Could be ghee as well. Ghee is really good, which is clarified butter. These are that I can think of. Anything else is pretty much, you can't really use it. It's garbage. How to get rid of iron? Donate blood. Too much iron ages you? Yes, it does. And it causes cancer. So cholesterol is high and A1C is high. What am I supposed to eat? Just meat? You can eat meat, but make sure it's lean meat. Take your niacin. Take your berberine. And do some intermittent fasting. Can I combine trace minerals with magnesium citrate and GABA? You can take trace minerals, you can take magnesium citrate, just make sure your trace minerals that does have magnesium chloride, just make sure, magnesium citrate and magnesium chloride do not exceed no more than about 260 milligrams, because or else you're gonna end up having like a soft stool effect. How to take NAC? You can take NAC with food. It depends what you're using it for. If you're using it for detoxifying your liver, take it early morning. If you're using it for overall health, antioxidant, and for your lungs, take it with food. What about NMN? What you want to use NMN for? Nicotinamide mononucleotide for anti-aging. There's NMN and there's NR. I like NR, nicotinamide riboside. Works a lot better and it's a lot more bioavailable. I also have the link in my bio as well too. Yes, thoughts on NMN? Okay, I just answered that question. How do you check for inflammation? There's a blood test you can get, and there's multiple inflammation factors you can actually check. You can send me a message, Kay, and I'll give you the blood test names, because there's roughly about 6 or 8 of them. Advice for people with long COVID. You gotta take your anti-inflammatory supplements: quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin E, magnesium, nicotinamide riboside, which is NR, is very important. And you have to do some prolonged fasting, like at least a 3-day fasting, probably like once a month if you could. Do NMN and zeolite work together well? Is there any order of how to take them, how long to take them? NMN should be consumed as soon as you wake up in the morning. Then zeolite, maybe take it about an hour after. Try not to take zeolite with too close with vitamins. It shouldn't really conflict, because it kind of goes after, the negative ions and stuff. So it doesn't really conflict. How long to take them? NMN, there's no point of stopping. You can take it every day for a long time. I like NR just because it's a little bit better. Zeolite as well, you can always take it for 3 months and stop for about, I think I did a video on this, and when I put in the video, take it for about 45 days and cycle. 45 days and cycle, a week off should be fine. Till you hit your goals. Can you repeat what you said to get rid of the COVID vaccine, please? For the supplement and the intermittent fasting, quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin E, NR as well is really good, nicotinamide riboside, that's what it stands for. And do a 3-day prolonged fasting once a month if you could. What is the difference between NMN and NR? So NMN requires one enzymatic enzyme to convert to NAD+. NR requires 2 enzymatic processes or enzymes to actually convert to NAD+. NR, it's more bioavailable. So you're gonna get a better level of NAD and much faster with NR. And the nice thing with NR, which is nicotinamide riboside, the riboside, which is ribose, is the only form that actually it turns on your mitochondria for energy level and heart health. So that's the only reason I like it, because it plays in your genes, in your gene expression as well too. Is it okay to fast periods? Is it okay to fast long periods with gastritis? It should be fine. The only thing is you have to do is support your body with trace minerals. And if you notice you have upper left quadrant pain, then that means it's time to stop. Basically, there's something in my body in the left upper abdominal, and I have to bend down to pop it and what? Basically, there's something in my body in left upper abdominal, which is upper left quadrant, and have to bend down to pop it. That's where your pancreas sits. So I need to know what's going on. Having pain in ankles, toes, cramping at night. Take magnesium chloride. Stop eating any vegetables that are high in oxalates, and stop eating vegetables that are nightshades. Thoughts on herbs versus supplements. I know they kind of overlap. You probably seen a lot of my videos. I kind of focus a little bit more on supplements, like vitamins, minerals, more than herbs, just because I believe the vitamins vitamins and minerals are part of the human body, right? So if something is missing, we're gonna fulfill that gap so we can actually prevent that deficiency. But herbs, yes, they might maybe detoxify and cleanse, but if something is missing, it's just gonna mimic, or maybe it's gonna make you feel better, but the moment you stop, you're pretty much back to square one, because you never really fulfilled that missing gap. So it's never really fixing a deficiency. It's just maybe making you feel better, but it does not fulfill that missing gap. In my point of view, I think herbs should be only utilized for, to stimulate things. This stimulates your liver for detoxifying, your kidneys, your bitters for digestive and all that stuff. But they're not there to fulfill any missing gaps. When you say intermittent fasting, how long is the fasting? Fasting, we're talking about 18 hours, 22 hours a day. Yeah, you can drink water. Shouldn't be an issue at all. Hi, Suzette. Thanks so much for your comment. Really appreciate it. My toes are numb, so my doctor told me to take magnesium. Yeah, it could be a magnesium deficiency, or it could be something with the it could be your vitamin B6, so something with the nerves sometimes. So check your vitamin B6 level, and if you are going to take vitamin B6, make sure it's P5P form. Which NR brand do you use? There's only there's few companies that make NR. The one I use is by Niagen, I think it's called. I get it directly from the manufacturer, and I have the link. I have the link within my profile bio. If you go in my profile bio and you go down all the way to where it says my favorite supplement and gear, and you're gonna see it on the top, is gonna say NAD plus NR nicotinamide riboside. So the one I take is by Niagen. The only reason I take by Niagen, they're the original manufacturer that actually created the Niagen. I think it's called Niagen. No, let me just check. It's by. It's not Niagen, actually. Sorry. I'm gonna tell you the exact name. The one I take. I know I have Niagen there. It's incorrect. It's a patent form. They're the only one who has a patent form. Ribose patent. I'll give you the company's name. Let me just get it for you. Sorry guys, I'm just pulling my email right now. I'm gonna get you the name of it. So the company that makes it goes by the name of Bioenergy, and Bioenergy are what created the nicotinamide riboside. They go by the name of Riagev, RIAGEV, and they're one of the top companies that actually, one of the top manufacturers that actually support probably about 50 different companies out there with their D-ribose, because they're actually, it's patent. So that's the one I use. And so the company, the manufacturer, they gave us a price and they're willing to beat anybody's price for me. So they gave me a really good price. So if you like the price, I can ship it directly to you. If you don't like the price or you find it somewhere else cheaper, they're willing to actually beat the price because they know it is one of the top form, and it's the only form that is actually patented. And I'm just gonna check it here just to make sure I have the correct name. Yeah, that's the one. It is made by Bioenergy. That's the manufacturer. That was for Charlotte. She was asking me, but yeah, that's the company name that I get it from, and it is good. I've been taking it probably for the past couple months right now, and my NAD levels reached out to top performance roughly within about like 6 days. Do you have a recommendation for treating? Do you have? Oh, sorry, just gotta close my site here for a sec. Do you have recommendations for treating Ehlers-Danlos, which comes with symptoms like a joint pain? This is kind of based on regards to the food you are eating, right? So sometimes depends on the anti-nutrients that you're causing the body to actually cause these pinpoint pins. Like, is it happening just only on the joints? Because usually what happens on the joints, these are based of crystal issues, and the only way you can actually kind of reduce that is you have magnesium, you got probiotics that works really good for this, and probably that's the only two that I would actually recommend for it. But I need to kind of know a little bit more information if it could be like a uric acid issue or an oxalate dumping into the joints that is causing these like needle kind of pain or like joint pain. Can you ship to the UK? Yes. What is chromium picolinate good for? Type 2 diabetes, that helps with weight loss. Yes. Does this company ship worldwide? Yes, they do ship worldwide. Can you ship? What is chromium? I've read that one. Also might be coming from nerve pain. If it is a nerve pain, usually you would be required of vitamin B6. If it is a nerve pain and it's not coming from, let's say, because a lot of the stuff, anything with joint pain or numbness or anything like that, sometimes we have to look at the oxalates as a first initial step, your uric acid. Then we can kind of pinpoint, okay, if it's none of these, then we kind of start to kind of diving into the nerve pains. And that's where usually like vitamin B complex comes in hand, or even magnesium as well too. I'm stage 2 kidney. I'm so worried. Can it maintain stage 2? You could maintain it. There is a Japanese company that they actually started their own herbs and supplements for GFR issues, kidneys. Whether they'll actually be able to reverse or not, I'm not sure. Send me a direct message. I'll give you the name. I don't have the name on hand here right now for the company, but you'll have to actually give them a call and they'll help you with the supplement. They just want to keep it as private as possible. It's due to collagen fibrous being abnormal, I think. Yeah, I'll have to actually kind of dive in a little bit more into this. I don't have much information on it, but definitely I'll have to look into it more for you. If you're interested, Charlotte, send me a direct message and I can kind of look into this a little bit further for you. We can definitely check other things for you. And we can check and we can possibly do like a blood test and check the status of certain vitamins to see whether it's a nerve issue or something with the collagen, as another user mentioned as well too. We can kind of break it down, but sometimes it is good to kind of check the blood vessel health overall. So one thing we can do is, like, I know there's a CT score where they check your body overall to see if there's any calcification somewhere. That's one option. Another option is there's a test called MPO or LPPLA2, and if these MPO will show if there's inflammation in a nerve. So if there is inflammation in a nerve, we'll know exactly that's why this is happening. Then we can kind of treat it. And to fix that is usually there's few things you can fix it with. Magnesium will fix that up. Garlic will fix that up. Anything high in sulfur as well too. One week ago, I had to get 2 stents, and for a long time, I've had inflammation, and now I'm on blood. What do you mean you're on blood? Based on your experience, what's your opinion on I don't know, never really looked into that much. Non-circumcised men, never really looked into that to see if it's something good or not. Is vitamin D3 bad? Just saw another TikTok about this. It helped me prevent COVID. I'm so confused. So vitamin D, it plays a big role. Of course, there is a natural vitamin D that you can kind of get from food as being natural. There is vitamin D that you can buy naturally from natural ingredients. And there is vitamin D that is synthetic or produced, let's say, from, I can't remember the exact name, from lamb hair or something like that. The problem with vitamin D, like, to fix flus and other symptoms, I've taken 50,000 IUs and 100,000 IUs, and I just repairs and fix issues instantly, any type of flu or symptoms like that. The problem with vitamin D3, if you're not careful with it, yes, it does cause calcification, which is increase of calcium and causes calcification. That's why sometimes vitamin D is used as a poison for, let's say, rats or mice, for example. So this way it will actually increase their calcification, and they'll end up dying, that's what is shown on a lot of the scientific literature. But so that's why they always say, take vitamin K2 to prevent calcification, or because keep in mind, vitamin D3 does increase your calcium. But as long as you have, that's why I always talk highly about magnesium. I don't really care much about vitamin K2. As long as you have enough magnesium in your body, magnesium will methylate vitamin D, so it will not allow it to actually get to a calcification progress. Does that make sense? So as long as you have enough magnesium in your body, you shouldn't really worry. If you don't, then it becomes a problem. Can you recommend John Dove? Oops, I missed your question. I was reading it and I just skipped up. Hi, sir. Can you recommend good magnesium supplement brand that ships worldwide? Yeah, I don't know. You probably, if you have access to iHerb, because the only reason I put iHerb under my favorite supplement because I know they ship worldwide. So the one I use is by Trace Minerals, by Trace Minerals, and they do make magnesium chloride. That's the one that I recommend. So magnesium chloride liquid, you put anywhere between 10 to 30 drops in 1 cup of water, so you get anywhere between 140 milligrams to about 200 milligrams per cup, and you drink that at least 3 times a day. It's okay, they end up putting you on blood thinner. Yeah, they have to kind of put you on blood thinner to kind of prevent any coagulation or anti-blood clotting. But you can definitely take supplements to actually eliminate that. First of all, you have to go on niacin, which is nicotinic acid, 500 milligrams. You probably have to take magnesium, and you have to saturate, and you have to take berberine and altorine. So these would be like your supplements for life if you don't want to take any medications, to actually maintain proper anti-blood clotting, proper platelet aggregation, proper anti-clotting issues anywhere in the body, not just in the stents, and from the stents not to collapse either. Especially, I don't know if they end up putting you on Brilinta. So sometimes they put you on Brilinta, sometimes they put you on aspirin for blood thinner. But it depends on your situation, depends on your cholesterol level, depends on your inflammation as well too. Your thoughts on Rogaine for hair growth? Have not tried it. I don't know if it does work or not. It does stimulate the scalp and does allow more oxygen flow. It's almost like one person I was talking to, they were using cayenne and vodka. So they put cayenne and vodka for about 6 weeks. And after that, before they shower, they actually put a couple of drops on their hair, and it actually stimulates the follicle. They keep it there for about 10-15 minutes. You get that tingly sensation. And after that, he shampoos his hair, and he swears by it. I haven't tried it, but kind of looking into it to kind of give it a shot and see if it actually works. Vitamin D is from the sun. How long to face the sun for sufficient a person? We had sun every day. The sun technically has to hit your eyes and has to hit your chest and your gut, because that's how actually you absorb the sun in your body. Yeah, I think, what is it, like 10 or 20 minutes between the hour of 12 and 3, that's where you gain about 20,000 IU. It's not Parkinson that you're having issues with leg hand, Esther. It's more of your magnesium deficient. 5,000 IU, D3 and K2 is okay. Levels been around 75 to 90. It should be fine as long as you're, between the recommendation. If you're between the recommended numbers, then you should be fine. I have to check the 75 and 90, because I know in Canada it's supposed to be for us over 45. I think our numbers are different than yours, but as long as you're above the normal but under the high number, you should be fine. And as long as you have enough magnesium in your body, nothing to worry about. Magnesium chloride for saturation, not any magnesium is okay. What's the best time to take magnesium? On an empty stomach, every 3 hours. Which magnesium for high blood pressure? Magnesium taurate. Take it every 3 hours as well. I want to consultation with you. Do you recommend blood tests? I do everything. A blood test, supplements, lifestyle, the whole thing. When we actually do a consultation, I'll give you all that information in specific. The magnesium bisglycinate I take contains bulking agents. I take 1,000 milligrams a day. Is it okay? No, it's not okay, because magnesium bisglycinate is mostly for relaxation. And if you want to saturate your cells, magnesium bisglycinate is never going to saturate your cells. So you're always going to take it, you're going to feel relaxed, you're going to feel okay, and after that, the moment you stop, you're back to square one. So you have to saturate your cells with magnesium chloride, 200 milligrams every 3 hours. Then you can use magnesium bisglycinate at the end of the night before you sleep, just to help your relaxation. When it has 1,000 milligrams, it probably has maybe about 50 or 100 milligrams of magnesium elemental, and the rest is glycinate or glycine. That's why it helps you kind of relax. So probably it has like 900 milligrams of glycine and 100 milligrams of magnesium, which is not enough to saturate. I try to eat only one meal a day, low acid, and have trouble digesting my food. Increase your acid very easily. Take hydrochloric acid after every meal till you actually increase your acidity level. Once you increase your acidity level, then you can get off the supplement. It's a natural supplement. Should magnesium be taken on a cycle throughout the year or year-round for as long as needed? Take it year-long. There's nothing that is going to affect your body. So magnesium, like I said, has to be saturated. So, for example, I did ebook on how to saturate your salts. So you might start with about 4 doses or 5 doses a day of 200 milligrams. Once you hit soft stool effect, then you reduce 1 dose. And you continue, let's say, on 4 doses for another 3-4 months. And once you hit another soft stool effect, you reduce that dose. So you continue doing that process till you're down to about like maybe 1 or 2 doses. That means that's your maintenance dose, and that's average what you need daily to maintain healthy level of magnesium in the body. How many hours of intermittent fasting? 18 hours would be great, up to 20 hours if you could. What is saturate? Saturate meaning that you have to get the magnesium at the cellular level. See, there's 2 types of magnesium. There's, when you go to the doctor and you check your magnesium, they actually check what is called serum magnesium, and serum magnesium only holds 1%. Technically, they have to check RBC magnesium, which holds 99%. So that means RBC stands for red blood cells. So you have to saturate at the red blood cells levels. And to saturate that, we're looking for at least 6 milligrams per deciliter for saturation. Is topical magnesium chloride good? It is good. You probably absorb about 10 to 15%, but not good enough to actually saturate your body. Is there a good supplement for seasonal allergies, like for sinus swelling? Digestive enzymes on an empty stomach to break down the mucus. That's one option. I know in France, they find out what the allergy what is the exact allergy issue, and they feed it to you at a micro dose for about 2-3 years, and after that the allergy completely disappears. Water fast, not dry fast. Isn't too much supplements not good for the liver? Should I detox or take breaks after a certain time? Well, supplements are like part of your lifestyle. Very simple. Nothing wrong with taking 6 or 7 different supplements, because none of them are synthetic. They're all coming or derived from, let's say, plants or food. So it is part of your lifestyle. You want to give your liver a break? Sure. The only reason you have to worry about when you buy some supplements, make sure you check to see whether they contain heavy metals or not. And if they contain heavy metals, then yes, doing a liver cleanse, or possibly if you're doing intermittent fasting, is more than enough to detoxify the heavy metals. How to lower high blood pressure? High blood count? You mean high blood pressure? Systolic and diastolic. I did a book on high blood pressure. Check it out, and I'll give you everything in details, from blood tests to supplements to take. What do you recommend for arteries blocked? I did a book recently, 2 weeks ago, about atherosclerosis and how to reverse it. Ebook, check it out. Link is in my bio. It explains everything in specific and the supplements to take for arterial damage and to reverse. You recommend Trace Minerals Mega Mac, available on iHerb, right? It is on iHerb. The one I take, it is called Trace Minerals. It is a blue bottle. I have the link within my profile bio. If you want to click on my link and go down to my favorite supplement, you'll see it. It will say Trace Minerals, or even magnesium chloride. They all run in the same company. That's the one I use, because they use everything being natural and nothing synthetic. what is the best way to eat beef meat, liver, and heart? Liver and heart as being an organ, you can eat about an ounce to 2 ounces daily, or you can eat it like once a week of about 6 to 8 ounces. Beef, you can eat it daily. Make sure it's not overly cooked. 80% raw would be great. So let's say medium rare or rare, because the more rare you keep it, the more enzymes it will hold and the more dense nutrients it will hold. Sometimes I do eat it raw myself, but definitely you can cook it, sear it, and definitely enjoy it. Liver, same thing with the liver and heart. Definitely lightly cook the surface just in case of any bacterial, let's just say. And always rare, medium rare is good. Never overcook your stuff, especially when it comes down to meat. Can you drink black coffee or tea during intermittent fasting? You could, yes, but depends on your health condition. Some could get irregular heartbeat because while you're intermittent fasting, your body utilizes a lot of trace minerals. And coffee or tea, due to their anti-nutrients, they do flush out magnesium, zinc, vitamin B1, and they do actually reduce iron as well too in the body. So you have to kind of make sure that these minerals, especially magnesium and B1, if you end up losing too much, you'll end up having irregular heartbeat. So you can drink black coffee and tea, just try not to exceed no more than about a cup a day. If you do more, you just have to replenish these minerals. Should people take 81 milligrams of aspirin a day? How doctor tell us? Why? To thin out the blood and anti-aggregation? You can take berberine instead. It does the same thing. It does the same thing and without any side effects either. I think that would be probably your best bet for it. Because aspirin, all it does, it's the only reason they cannot take aspirin just because it thins out the blood and technically it's supposed to kind of reduce blood clot formation and the platelet aggregation. But you can do the same thing with berberine and taurine. Or you can even take cayenne or garlic. What is trichromium good for? Mostly it's for sugar control and helps with weight loss by controlling your HbA1c and cardiovascular health. Very similar like berberine. How much berberine? Probably up to 1,500 milligrams a day would be great. Can I take betaine hydrochloric on an empty stomach if I have GERD to relieve pain? You could try 500 milligrams, see how you feel. Don't overtake it. What to take for gout? This is I'm currently working on an ebook for gout, and I'll answer everybody's questions because I had a lot of questions about gout and how to fix it. Vitamin you take while fasting. I'd like to start fasting, but take mine with food due to early energy. You can take, with vitamins, when you're fasting, there's water soluble and there's fat soluble. Of course, you cannot take fat soluble on an empty stomach. It has to be consumed with food. But any water soluble vitamins could be consumed on an empty stomach. What caused light head feeling? Like I'm wobbly on my feet. Doctor thinks stress, anxiety. What do you think? Is deficiency of minerals. That's what I think. It's mostly your magnesium, potassium, and sodium ratios are off. So that's why you're kind of almost hazy or losing balance, or you feel wobbly and stuff. So if you drink a lot of coffee, that does that as well too, because you're constantly flushing a lot of minerals. I get blisters on my hands and feet. I'm exposed when I'm exposed to the sun. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the sun that you're allergic to. It's something you're probably eating that you're getting a reaction to. What supplements can help with weight loss? Fasting. Can I take collagen when I fast? If you take collagen, that means you're breaking your fast. I'm diabetic and always thirsty and always urinating. What can I do to stop it? Fasting. Start fasting, because you're probably type 2 diabetic. Your HbA1c, when it's above, let's say 6 or even 8, you're going to be constantly in a urination mode due to the weakness in the bladder. So take berberine, take a nitrate supplement, and do a lot of fasting. I think so too. I have arthritis and blood pressure that's controlled. Please name the vitamins again. Blood pressure is mostly magnesium and taurine. Arthritis, you have to discontinue all the oxalate foods and anything with anti-nutrients in them. I got 5 more minutes, guys, and I'm going to call it a night. It's already 11 p.m. and I'm getting super tired, not even thinking properly. Any ideas for treating insomnia? Magnesium, GABA, and L-theanine. You said collagen breaks fast? Yes, it does. How many times a day should I have pre and probiotics whole food for it to be optimal? Probiotics, you can have it 2 times a day. It depends how many meals, but technically probiotics should be 2 times a day. Like I said, about an hour before you eat, have your probiotics on every meal, and have your prebiotics with last meal of the day, because that's how you actually feed your bacteria at night. Charlotte, have a great night. Thank you. You too, guys. Have a great night. Thank you. Sounds nice sleep. Thank you, guys. Thank you for helping. Have a good rest. Best supplement for mental health. Guys, I'm gonna say good night for everyone. I am getting a little bit tired. I haven't stopped from talking. It's probably been about 2 hours. Had a lot of interesting, a lot of good questions. I think I've answered about a good 90% of them, 10% kinda in between. But guys, if I do miss a lot of questions, which is I've always do, because I cannot go and take so much detail on a lot of the answers, send them to my direct message. We'll be more than happy to respond ASAP within the next day or two. Guys, have a good night, and thanks so much for joining me tonight. Cheers.